don't know that. And he showed me a screenshot of his phone. He's at -1, so I guess that's not so bad.
It's like 50 here.
So hope everyone's had a good week since we've seen them. Just to wrap up, last week we talked a lot in the end about financial responsibility and that kind of stuff. Steve has been true to his word and made 3 videos now.
3. And before we get too far, I want to thank everybody for watching. The first video's got 1,100 views on it. That's way more than my channel ever gets. And the kindness that you guys showed last week, I really appreciate it. It helped us out a lot this week. So, and it will continue to help us out in the weeks to come. So I just wanted to thank everybody.
To know that he did that. So, and then I put out a video yesterday, one that I was just randomly thumbing through TikTok. So TikTok's been wasting a lot of my time. So, but this was actually one of the good things out of TikTok, and it's been I've felt it has wasted so much of my time that I've actually put a 30-minute daily time limit on there. So it'll come up and tell me I've reached the 30 minutes. So that's it. You know, instead of because you can lose track of all time just a minute or 2 minutes at a time. You don't realize how much time has gone by. So, but it's a $500,000 idea. It's really about getting organized and becoming much more efficient, focusing on doing small things.
Processes? No, nobody would ever talk about systems and processes.
So check that out. I'm not going to talk a ton about that today. It just came out yesterday afternoon. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, really good information in there. A good story from 1918. I've actually started using it, and just the general gist is to do 6 things a day and work on the most important. And it really, when I got up this morning, there's 6 things I know that I'm going to be working on today, starting with number 1. Yesterday, I struggled to put 9 on it. So, but I think I'm down to 7 today. Going to try to get to 6. It really makes you understand, what's really important to do. So watch that. I'd appreciate it. Give me some feedback on it if you're going to try it. Yeah, so that's
okay. I'm trying real hard to figure out how to put a link in the chat. So,
what's Steve's channel?
I got it now. It's there.
But it's amazing. Just something that simple. It reminded me of what I used to do. It's and Harlan is good at this, and we've talked about this a lot. Is he keeps a list on a piece of paper and keep adding to it, like on a yellow, like on a legal pad. And I used to do that a lot until I decided I was too good for legal pads, and everything's got to go through my phone. So so this iPhone here has reminders, and you can make lists. And the nice thing about this is it puts it on my phone, but it also puts it on the 2 computers I have, this one and the one outside. So I'll show you the list. It's got too many on there. So there's a complete a shipping video. I've already shot the video, but I need to add one important thing. So that reminds me, the boxes. Where do you get your boxes? Where do you get your new boxes? I buy a box. There's one place I tell y'all all the time. I get boxes from these folks. Early on, I was mixing in some Amazon boxes because coming from eBay or their website, it was it's a couple extra days if I needed them. But Supply Hut is up their game and is really they're crazy fast. If I order it today, it'll be here Saturday morning at the latest. Sometimes Friday afternoon. Usually it's. So reached out to those guys through a friend who had contact with them. And so in the link, if you need some boxes from Supply Hut, there's a 5% discount link. So
nice.
Not only are they pretty much the cheapest most of the time, their boxes are made much better than some of the other. I don't get crooked boxes from them. Some of the other suppliers I've used in the past, you you're doing crooked boxes and carrying on. But there's a link. It'll be in all the videos from now on. So if you need somebody, I mean, that's the part of the video I got to finish is, talk about the link and then tie that shipping video. It'll come out tomorrow. But I started looking at all the boxes. They either say eBay on them or they say Supply Hut on them. They don't say anything. So, Tactical Z, that's the company. I didn't want to call the company name out, but that's the one that are always crooked and they're a little heavier. So yes, so save some money on top of, helping the channel out by going through the link. I reached out to him. He's a nice guy. I'm like, I saw that on Commonwealth's channel. I was kind of jealous as much as I use you guys. And he goes, yeah, Commonwealth was the first. So they're not a ton of affiliates or Supply Hut out there, but
they're not seeking you out. I know that Kevin also contacted them in the beginning, right. And that's how and that's there's some bubble wrap companies that seek resellers out, and
okay, so this
one doesn't. So
this goes into the topic of the day: is do you have fear in your reselling business? And I don't mean like Friday the 13th, horror, fear. I mean, it can be that voice inside your head that, me being an introvert, and Steve will tell you the same thing. John has no idea what I'm talking about.
Not as introvert anyway.
I'm telling you, every time I release a video, I knew that video yesterday would help a lot of people because if it helps me, I can't be the only one, with efficiency and organizing things that I do and helping me prioritize things to get done. That's got to be something that helps others. This video that I saw had tons and tons of views, people commenting on it. But I still had a thought about, is it good enough? I'm not a perfect speaker. I'm not a perfect anything. And there's that self-doubt that before you hit the publish button, you just go, hell. I think I've mentioned this before. And you just hit the publish anyway. And this Supply Hut is good for boxes. I think I told the story last week about the porn DVDs. Well, I bought 75 new DVDs there. So I bought they were the cheapest supplier I could find for padded mailers. 7x10, I think is what I ordered. And so I ordered those too. So they've got
you run out of the Walmart ones already?
DVDs won't quite fit.
They fit. You got to be, it's hard, but you can get them in there.
And I didn't, for 100.
But they do cheap. They're not bad. This is usually who I order from too.
Yeah, 100 of them for $27. I'm like, you know what? I'm not fighting every one of these. I'm using those for Blu-rays, but not for DVDs.
Yeah. Currently, I'm just moving up to the next envelope because I don't, the funds weren't there to buy new ones. But I still have all those Walmart envelopes, and I don't want to just forget to use them. So those are getting used now. But if it doesn't fit, I'll move it up.
Don't miss Todd's comment here. It's about the Supply Hut to me is about the weight, and that's where I save the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new to the channel, new to reselling, hey, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching the show. Hopefully we can help you on your adventure. But the box, you got a 4, an 8, a 12, and 16 ounce on online shipping. Those are your weight bands. So if you've got a box that's an ounce and a half or so lighter, that's the difference between a 24 and a 32 ECT box is about an ounce and a half. So I've got an item that weighs 6.5 ounces, 5, and I put in a Supply Hut box, it stays under the 8. If I use any other box, including the free eBay box, it goes over. So you're paying an extra 40 to 50 cents on average of these ranges. Except for this 12 to 16, that one is more like $1 range. That was the most expensive of the ranges. I don't know if it's a penalty for us being able to use it for online that nobody else gets, but it also makes it where items that I would normally not put in a box, but I would like the protection of a box, but I don't want to spend the extra money. Say it's a 15-ounce item, and if I put it in a poly mailer, it stays under. It really allows you to keep ranges on first class shipping. It's tremendous. Their boxes.
Can't disagree.
So Timothy said the same thing when he published his podcast. He'd have the same feelings. Is it good enough? I think if you don't have that feeling, Timothy, maybe you don't care enough. You're not doing it. That's the way I've so I've mentioned it here, there, and kind of in. So I'm building a retail arbitrage class, and it'll come out. It'll go live Friday. I'll make a video Friday morning. I'll probably go live and talk about it. A lot of people have asked about it. I've done one for the first quarter, last 3 years, and last year I told myself after that one that I wanted it to go year round, but I needed it to be online so people could purchase this class, because it's the time commitment of every week was a lot. Putting my schedule around. But then I told myself I wasn't good enough to build a class. I told them, it was too difficult to learn. It was going to take too long. I didn't know how to do a sales funnel and all the stuff you've got to learn to do all that stuff. And, finally convinced myself. And it took 9 months for me to convince myself. And it happened in the fourth quarter this year. So I sacrificed some of my fourth quarter sales, because right now there's 65 videos that are in this class, and I'm adding 8 more today. So, because I couldn't just think, how do you just teach somebody to go scan and that's it? You leave them at just go scan. It's a lot, so it's from, I treat it like you're a brand new person and go all the way to your accounting. And then there's bonuses on the end about, once you've gotten decent is what do you do? And then how to get ungated and on Amazon. So, so hopefully that'll be well received. It'll be Friday. Todd gets bubble from Supply Hut too. I don't do bubble wrap because I have an air pillow machine.
I do bubble wrap and air pillows, so depending on what the item is.
But I will from now on. I normally order it from Amazon, but I'll definitely order it from Supply Hut from now on.
There's a company based out of Ohio that I get mine from. It's really good bubble wrap too, and it's the cheapest on eBay, so that's where I get mine. But I can't remember the name of the company right off.
So I can't be the only one that the fear that you've got to find a way in your life to deal with it. And because the one thing I can tell you, really, if you want your life to be different, if you want 2023 to be different than 2022, you have to do things different. And that a lot of times that means just out of your comfort zone, never done it before. You've got to blaze a trail, and it's for your own good. And you've got to find a way. And, a lot of it here is, I got a good friend named Harlan. I mentioned him a lot. If I've got an idea, I run it by him. So I got at least a second opinion of somebody going, yeah, that's a pretty decent, a lot of the stuff that I do, y'all don't see behind the scenes before and after the show. I ask John a lot of questions. I value John's opinion. And,
Dumbass.
So, I'm also working on another form of business, where it's trying to learn affiliate marketing right now, because I have an advantage over most of you guys. There are some creators in the chat, but Amazon influencers, it's not open to everybody. It's only open to certain people, and you have to be approved in with some kind of influence. So I'm very thankful for you guys that actually listen to my craziness. It now making all these videos and putting myself out there and all this stuff, allows me the opportunity now to produce. And so I'm at 12 videos now. If you saw the little list, there's 2 videos got to be done today. So that's my goal, is 5 days a week, 2 videos, and then to have Joni do 3 videos. This is another thing. Amazon influencers. I publish the videos, but Joni has made 3 or 4, and it gives her something to do.
That soap one was really good. She did a good job with that.
She did a real nice job with the soap one for sure.
Yeah.
And then, so I bet you're right. It's so basically an Amazon influencer at the bottom of the video. The bottom of the listing, underneath the questions, before the reviews, there'll be listings. There'll be videos, and people click on them. And if they click on mine and then buy the product, I get a commission. It costs you nothing. But yeah, so there's a big trend right now at Zote soap. It's running wild on TikTok. Some of the makeup type influencers over there are this older laundry soap, ZOTE. It's a bar. They're cleaning their makeup brushes and stuff. And so we got some, and then I shot the video of Joni cleaning her brushes, and it actually, we were both shocked how good a job it did. I mean, she had one of her dirtiest brushes, and it was white again. It was crazy.
Somebody has a link to the Bearded Picker review channel. Please put it in there. I'm looking for it right now, but I need to get better at this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I've got one review up, so I'm gonna start any of the reviews. I'm gonna start posting on that channel that go to Amazon. I just have not been good about that, so starting today.
Be right there.
John Gilbert, you're 100% correct. Being self-employed can be lonely and scary place. It's great to have. So one of the bonus things in the class is I spent some time telling people, and I've told this
earlier. Phone number.
So what?
You give out your phone number.
Where at?
In the class. On your videos, you put your phone number in the bottom of your video. Never mind.
Okay. We'll straighten that out, whatever it is. It's on the other channel.
Here, I put the link for the reviews in there.
But it's a lot of stuff, So what was I complaining? So here's a perfect example. I talk all the time about maintaining a positive attitude and doing it. So I noticed there's a guy who is my phone number in that video that I just left?
What video was that?
I don't know.
Is that video?
If it is, I'll take it down real quick. But it doesn't matter. The one nice thing about an iPhone is if you're not in my phone and my contacts, it doesn't ring. Let me check. Steve, talk about something while I figure out if I put my crazy.
Oh, I was looking at the video to see if I could find your phone number. That link will, if you click on that link, it will take you to his channel and it'll say no videos. I don't know why it says that, but just click on the videos tab in that link and it'll take you to that video. My caller ID is Joni, somebody says.
So there you go.
I still don't know what they're talking about as far as phone number.
I took it down.
We'll figure it out. Oh, okay. You got it. Well, bookmark the channel. It'll come back.
Yeah, but anyway, so I spent a lot of time when I found the other guy on eBay who is using the name I use, Bearded Picker, except he's put and Packer. Also, he steals part of the image, and so I ordered something for him. I called his name out, and I'm all mad. And then I start realizing, I had a friend use a generic image and kind of alter the generic image. So do you waste your time being negative, or do you just build a new logo and be done with it? So I went on Fiverr. I didn't want to spend the money they wanted. And so listening to the folks around me, I'm like, man, look at this cool Blue Willow site, Blue Willow AI. I can make my own freaking logo. Ron, I do cover eBay. It's retail arbitrage anywhere. So basically it'll be the class, and then it's going to have a Facebook group attached to it that you'll have permanent access to. I will go over, it's got 10 modules in it right now. So I will do 10 live sessions going over each module. And then, you're available in the Facebook group to ask any questions you want. It'll be monitored by me and several friends. who I trust their opinion, and I will check it once a day and to see about asking questions. Yeah, Arthur, I actually took that list down for a second. I'll look at the video and make sure, because it's on Amazon right now. Okay, the whole world.
I didn't see anything in it, but I didn't watch the whole thing here either. So
I'll just make sure. So, Lag, go ahead and call me. I can trust you. Go ahead and call me, Lag. So Laura says she's created an image with blue. It is very addictive to keep. So that's where the logo, the face in the corner. So I used Canva and then picked out a logo and started alternate, and then put I put a little van in the picture, and I put the YouTube logo, and then I come up with the face on Blue Willow, so it's not going to be anything that's repeated. I actually like it better than the other one. So a car warranty is expired. Damn it. But you can't let fear. All this stuff. I'm an old dog. I'm teaching myself new tricks. You can do all this stuff. We are at a time in history where it's much easier to have a side hustle than ever before, and much easier at any time in history of your desire and interest to monetize that and create a living based on the things you like to do and the things that you're interested in. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so he's blown up now. I've been watching him for quite some time. How many people have heard of Keith Lee?
I have not.
If you're on TikTok and you haven't heard of Keith Lee, you're living under a rock. So Keith Lee, he was an MMA fighter. He still is an MMA fighter. He struggles with the same thing I struggle with in public, that kind of stuff. And so he decided he wanted to make a TikTok channel to help him ease his social anxiety. And so he loves restaurants, loves food. So he started reviewing smaller restaurants and just restaurants. He'll get the order to go. He'll come home and he'll make a review. Keith Lee he just did a video with Mr. Beast. He's got 10 million subscribers on TikTok. He is the nicest. The truly nicest guy. Very humble. He's got a religious background, so he treats people with kindness. He is, just an honest. Just say, hey, this is, and even if it's something he doesn't like, he'll tell you that it's probably his taste buds because the food's prepared well. He said, I want to tell you, he's not a texture guy or he needs extra seasoning and something, but he'll tell you based on his taste buds, this is. And so what has happened when you have this? He had 6 million subscribers and he started doing Mr. Beast and went up to 10. He would go so there's a pizza restaurant. He went over, somebody suggested he go to this pizza restaurant in Vegas. This guy was struggling. He went in there and he only had a couple employees. They were closing early because they just had the business. And talked to the owner. The owner was fabulously nice and was actually, he thought the food was absolutely wonderful. This guy's restaurant, it's down the block lines to get in this place now. It's amazing the influence, the impact of him doing a food review and finding places. He's looking for small businesses. He's looking for businesses that his goal is it the food? Is it the people? Or is it the marketing? And 9 out of 10 times it's the marketing. Most of the time the food is wonderful. He'll tell you if it's bad, but most of the time it's the food. I thought Steve fell out of his chair.
No, I'm just trying to move the camera around.
But you can do whatever it is. I'm telling you, it's absolutely. Canva has a text to image feature that creates images. I have not. I need to.
It's okay.
I need to explore Canva more. I use Canva for thumbnails. I'll make some. If I make a TikTok, I'll run it through. I don't use Canva enough. Canva is very powerful, and I've been a subscriber there for quite a while.
I've used their text to image, and it's okay, but there's not a lot of control you have over what you put in there. And it gives you 4. Well, I give it just like everywhere else. It gives you 4.
But so what I'm here to tell you is find out what's holding you back. Most people, it's some sort of, not all fear is bad. I would tell you, if you're not an Amazon seller without fear, you're doing it wrong. If you're doing retail arbitrage and those kind of things, and you don't have fear of what Amazon will do if you break the rules, you're doing it wrong, because you need that'll keep you in line from product conditions, not taking shortcuts. I ask people all the time, what's your account worth? Is your account worth the temporary gain in this one item that you're skirting the system that you should have never touched? So sometimes fear is good, but you can't let it hold you back. You get one shot at this big wide earth, and I keep reminding myself of that. And I'm over halfway done. At the end of your life, are you going to sit back and lament with the chances you didn't take and the results you could have had, and the dreams that you wanted and only you knew, and you never acted on them, or never? This is one of those. This will probably be a shorter show because I'm trying to get to where this show is an hour and 15 instead of 2 hours. But what's holding you back? Figure that out. I'm the craziest one who've ever started. And I hear a lot of people who are YouTubers who are introverts. I don't know why I ever. It's Paul Gummerson's fault I ever turned the camera on.
It's Scott Zilke's fault I ever was on this show.
Yeah, Paul Gummerson's
I turned the camera on. I look back. I have 2 other YouTube channels. One has nothing on it, and the other one has some just crap content. I actually have another one after that. I have 4 YouTube channels that I don't use. The first one's 2009. I can't believe I've been on YouTube that long.
Ralph, no, you're missing the point, Ralph. I'm not saying in fear of Amazon. I mean a healthy fear of, it makes you follow the rules. It makes you do things the right way. It makes you not take chances and not see gray areas. It makes you not decide that you can listen to one of these crazy people on the internet and tell you can be a drop shipper on Amazon, and they get mad when they ban you because you're a drop shipper on Amazon. That's what I don't live in fear of Amazon. It's not a fear of Amazon. It's a I need to follow the rules because it's important to this kind. On eBay, I don't really think much about it. If something happens on eBay, they're gonna go, you can't list for 3 days. Okay, 3 days, I'll be back.
It's that same type of fear we had when we were in high school, and we didn't want to do something bad because we'd end up at the principal's office and get paddled. That's really what happened when I was that age.
If you're running down the interstate and you should stay under double digits over the speed limit, because that if you're running 15 over, you're getting pulled. If you're running 8 over, you're probably going right by the cop and you're good. It's that kind of, it's the respect for authority. It's the respect for, it's not the fear might, and that it's respect for the rules. Maybe fear is not the right word. It's an easier way for me to describe it. I ain't talking to you, Dixie Bell.
I didn't actually get paddled in high school, by the way. Middle school, elementary school, and middle school I did, but not high school. They outlawed it by then.
My school was in the principal's office, so I don't know what.
I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time there. Trust me, not by my fault either. My sister made it hard for me. We won't go there.
Tactical Z's got more than one I'm thinking about to this show today is a fear of taking actions to change your business, to change your life, to change
your life.
That's where I'm at right now.
So it's
fear can also hold you back. Look at what the position I'm in. A lot of that is because of being afraid to go out, being afraid to do things the right way. Not the right way, but I got in such a boat because I'm trying to be conservative with what I'm buying. And by being ultra conservative, because I'm afraid to go big, it got me in a boat where I'm actually worse off than I was. So that's my fear.
So sorry, one of the dachshunds is here bothering me. Our oldest one, we've got a 16-year-old who's attached at the hip to her mama, and Joni is currently at the doctor. So I think she's at a doctor. I don't know where she went.
This was my biggest fear right here.
Is that the last will and testament? Yep. A lot of people have that.
That was
I'm not
hard.
afraid of that one. Yeah.
But that was hard to get done.
Maybe if I sit down to actually do it, maybe then I would, I
came
would
up
feel
with
that.
every excuse in the book. It's taken me over 2 years to get that done.
But it's a perfect example is someone who's done it the same way. If you're a clothing seller on eBay and you're watching the rise of Poshmark and these others, I learned about a site, Depop. I never even heard of that before. There's other, and if you're afraid to learn a new platform, how much money are you leaving? How much of a life changing could that be if you could sell more by just cross listing on a program like List Perfectly, doing the same work and spreading it out on different platforms and getting more eyes on it? What's the secret to Amazon over eBay? Is Amazon's platform that much better than eBay's? Not really. Their audience is hundreds of times larger. They have 100 times more of the customers. So why do you sell more on Amazon? Because there's so many more bodies on there. It's sheer numbers. And so the more eyes so if you're on.
But it also depends on what you're selling. Because I could tell you,
Yeah.
I was looking at my numbers yesterday. 50% of my sales on eBay previously bought something from me.
Right.
Where you can build that rapport with your customers to keep them coming back, especially if you have a replenishable item. On Amazon, it's like 18%. So it really depends on what you're looking for in the business model. I'm actually going to go back to building eBay. And there's no way I would leave anything to anybody that freaking had an eagle's head in their freaking whatever that
the Eagles. The Eagles are a different story. Maybe by the end of this, I'll tell you my theory on the Eagles.
Chokadelphia.
Yeah, it's early in this year. But one of your months is already gone. January. You can write January off.
My sales, I can't write it off. My sales were up 38%.
Most people, what are they scared of in January? The returns. Oh, there's so many returns. They forget how much more they sold in the last quarter. That's just your percentage hadn't changed. You just sold more stuff.
I can tell you what the difference is. It's a mindset. I talk about mindset all the time now. Mm-hmm. It's a mindset. Are you running a business or are you running a hobby? If you're running a hobby, they're the people that bitch about returns. We've looked at my numbers and my returns are 1 point whatever percentage of my sales. And come January, they're 1 point something percentage of December sales. It's just, it's business.
John, this comment's for you.
Yeah, that's my buddy, John Fetterman.
And it's a mindset, John. And so one thing, we kind of gets agreed and then just read a little bit early on is you told me I built myself a job, which I did in the initial early on, and you were looking to build a company. And so you went larger and I stayed the same and the same things. But I see things differently now. I told you I'm doing Amazon influencer, but my thinking has evolved. And so I look at the Amazon influencer that I'm working on these videos and I think, how else can I do this? How else can I? And so I'm working on making this part of my business and making a business model part of what I do based on this influencer program. And before, old me would have been happy. Man, look, I'm making a little bit of affiliate money. That's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. It doesn't take me much time and I make a little bit of money here or there. But the newer me and the way I have evolved in thinking of is, how can I maximize this? How can I make this a business? How can, my goal, folks, in case you didn't know, my goal is to make reselling less than half of my income by the end of 2023. And right now it's 95-ish, 98-ish. It's a big number. And so
silver hair stacker. made a good comment. My fear is that reselling will go away and I have to live on my fixed income retirement. I think a lot of people are starting to see this fear as more bigger companies are going onto Amazon Direct, and you're starting to see more Vero on eBay, and you have to find. I don't believe reselling's going away.
So
In
Ralph,
its basic form, I think it will change over time, but it's not going to go away.
Ralph said he's more scared of a divorce in January. Glad it's gone. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that fear is. So there you go.
I try to get my wife away. Nobody will take her, so I'm stuck.
But it's change. Change the way you think. And how do you? If you never get out of your own way and you never take any chances because you sit back and or I don't know what will happen, so I'm not going to do it. The one thing I would tell you is don't go crazy out there. If you've got an opportunity and you're thinking, as long as you're following the rules, what's the worst going to happen? You learn something. The biggest thing in being self-employed, especially a reseller, is where do you learn the most? You make a mistake. You allow yourself to, but how many of those mistakes, if you're doing it the right way, you analyze the mistake, figure out what happened, you're better for it, you move on, and it becomes positive after that. Mistakes, unless you quit, mistakes are just part of the process. They're learning. You will learn the most there. Felix is 100% correct. I don't live in any fear that reselling will go away.
Since there was a woman on the face of the earth, we've been selling stuff.
Mr. Sadie says he's scared that bad poker players will stop playing poker. There you go. That's probably. Felix, you're 100% correct. There is a market for everything, and I don't think, Todd. I don't think that the fear should be that it'll go away. The fear would be, am I keeping up with where it is? Look at all this. I'd never heard of Depop before. There's all these other clothing platforms and all this stuff to shoot. There's a reason why eBay is, if it's over $100, they were giving you no fees on shoes, because there's a shoe platform out there they're losing their ass to. And I think it'll be more segmented and that kind of stuff. And there'll be more, people have tried to come at, who was the one that tried to come at eBay a couple of years ago who was using YouTube? They're still around. Me and Shane were doing it. I can't think of their name.
Oh, what's his name's platform? That Prairie Grit?
Prairie Grit. So Prairie Grit did it wrong. Prairie Grit decided they were coming completely after eBay. That's not how you do it. If you want to, you come at parts of it. In today's segmented society, you're much easier to go, well, I'm going to take the shoes away from them. I'm going to take a good chunk of the clothing away. I'm going to build a better clothing platform for sellers. What's the biggest thing that sellers hate about it? All the returns, and so Poshmark deals on a mainly no returns, and that kind of, as long as you describe it correctly. The danger is not the reselling going away. The danger is, am I going to miss out on part of it because it changes and I'm not up on the changes?
Opening bell. Where's the stocks going?
So Ralph, I've bought Cinnamon Toast Crunch and stuff like that, but I got the cards out of it. And then I'm like, now what do I do with these? My neighborhood Facebook group, I told them what I did and I took the cards out. Does anybody want this cereal? Because there's full of kids in this neighborhood. You know how many cereal boxes I had left? None. They took them all.
What'd you do?
Yeah, I gave them away too.
What was in the box?
Pokemon cards.
Oh, we know I can make a lot of money with Pokemon. I know all about it.
Well, a little bit, one experience, but yes.
Here, this is what I got.
Well, I hope whoever bought those did well with them, but that was pretty big, for somebody like me, that would be a huge risk because I have no clue what you had.
All right, so Amy Lee, what is up? Either you misspelled it up or you had a heart attack at your keyboard at work and got too many P's on it.
Maybe she's in the bathroom.
Maybe that's a site that we don't know about.
You peeing. You pee.
it's, are you happy with the way you are? If so, keep doing what you're doing. Because I can tell you, if you're happy where you are and you keep doing what you're doing, eventually everybody else is going to leave. There's going to be a diminishing returns. It's because everybody else is moving forward, and you're stuck. The stock market. And I would challenge you, if you want to continue and you want to make this, you've got to. Stocks dropped 200. Federal Reserve announcement pending today. Nice.
Quarter point is what they're expecting, guys. I'm sitting here with my finger on the buy trigger. I got a lot of money just sitting waiting to buy on this downswing on this quarter point, because I don't think the quarter point's going to do anything. PPP loans are getting audited. That's not. If you were stupid with your PPP loan, you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
I know people that bought Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I do know people that did that. For the most part, most of the accountants and businessmen I talk to all opened a second account with the PPP loan. We put the money through a separate account, so every transaction was recorded on that money, and that for the most part, most people are going to be able to walk right through any audit on PPP loans. Like,
I wish I would. Now, looking back on it, we didn't need the PPP loan, so we didn't take it. Now I wish I had, but to use it appropriately, of course.
I didn't need it, and I said to my accountant, I said, "Let's take it." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because we don't know what's coming."
I wish I would have now. At this point, I wish I would have.
And my interest rate's 3.75 on a 30-year mortgage. It is peanuts right now compared to what money costs. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I took it. I'm glad I helped the people I could. And I did it different than most people. I did not take a dime of the PP. There was employee money, and because I'm a W-2 employee of the company, I was entitled to get that for I didn't take not one penny out of that money. I said that I would not take any of it, and I didn't. I used it for my employees. Everything was done right. There are people out there that I know, a lot of people, and my accountant tells me, he says, you should see what some of these people did with the money.
Easy, go lay down. But 2023 is still early, folks. You're still things are changing. I can tell you right now, in a few weeks, they're going to be different changes to eBay and Amazon both. Are you ready? Are you in a proper mindset to take advantage of the changes? If you're not paying attention, that the storage on Amazon FBA is changing, and that there's going to be bidding for storage and all that craziness is coming, and buying extra storage and replacing what as how they measure your performance. All that's changing. Are you paying attention?
I'm paying attention to your phone going off like crazy over there.
It's probably just DVD.
Yeah. I've been listing a lot more merchant fulfilled lately, mainly because I don't have enough for a shipment. So why leave it set around, and collect dust? Get it sold if it'll sell. And I've been selling some DVDs that way, so it's good.
I've got a ton of DVDs listed, so it's generally just DVD. The last couple have been DVDs. And folks, I could have sent those in, but I knew I wasn't going to send the shipment in until probably tomorrow. This week is kind of touchy with, doing anything I can to make sure that the class goes up on Friday morning. And so I put the DVDs FBM. It took no time to list a DVD on Amazon. Takes no time, none. And something very easy. Jacob and Johnny can go out there and ship them if I need to. I think I shipped 22 DVDs yesterday, I mean, I had less than 30 minutes in shipping those. It just doesn't take that long to print out all the invoices, to keep me in order, to pay for them all at one time, and then just sit there with a stack full of bubble mailers, stick one in, envelope, make sure they match, go. It doesn't take very long.
Do you have a cutoff for price of the DVD, or are you just selling them all that way?
If it doesn't $9 or more, I put on Amazon. Okay. Anything less than $9 goes to the auction.
So $9 or more, you'll merchant fulfill or send them in FBA, one or the other. Okay.
So I do have next week I have a shipment going out. Monday or probably Tuesday, I'll do an FBA shipment. A bunch of stuff I've got out there. Any DVDs that are in the garage, the building, they will go ahead and go in, and I'll be done with all those. Yes, like says, storage is going to triple in cost. You know, folks, the Bearded Picker's here to help you out. I've got you a discount on Supply Hut. if it's going to triple in cost, you can save your ass some money by doing FBM. Then you've got to have a clean box, and there you go. Use the link in the description.
This is the beginning of the shift of Amazon. Amazon is a logistics company. They're going to become a logistics company. They are not going to be a selling platform. Remember, you heard it here first. Amazon, this storage thing is for big sellers that are bringing in big container loads from China. This bid for storage has to do with Chinese markets coming into the U.S. It is not going to affect the little guy like you and me. It's not going to.
Double hutch that. So that's going to be one of the bonuses in my class that goes out Friday to teach people how to get ungated. In most things, I would give them DVDs. That's an easy one. I'm grandfathered in.
I am not. I had to get ungated, but it wasn't a hard thing. Now, Barbie wants to know about selling DVDs on Amazon, and
I have a machine that'll clean the disc, but I only buy new ones. I don't buy used right now. I'll use DVD. I'll do to go to the auction.
I do the same. I only right now I'm buying new ones. Mainly that's because I haven't gone through and started scanning used ones to see what they're worth. But
it is very rare. So I was at the estate sale. So Felix, if I'd have known you were in the market for that kind of stuff, I went to an estate sale. I had a trunk full of gay porn. I'd have bought it for you, shipped it to you, dude. I didn't realize you were in the market for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But who was it that's in the market?
Felix.
All right. Well, next time I see a box, I'll grab it and we'll send it off to Felix.
He's mentioned Emmanuel and Amsterdam, those kind of things. So he's probably into that too.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was looking at all these new DVDs, this house had there must have been 500 or 600 DVDs in this house. And I got 75 new ones, but I bought one used one because there was an anime DVD stuck in there. And when I scanned the anime DVD, it was worth $30 used. And I opened up, looked at it, and the disc was beautiful. So I bought that one. So there will be a time I will buy a used one here or there. I have a shrink wrap machine, so I will sell it as used, very good, and then I will put the stuff.
There's
on
probably a pretty good market for used DVDs if you're finding the right stuff. And at that point, getting a cleaning machine. I got the cleaning machine for games, video games. I don't use it that much.
So flip it good. That is here's your tip. Flip it good. It reminded me, I saw it last night. If you're looking for merchandise to sell, and you're especially a clothing seller, the clearance at Kohl's, 80% off clearance is now half off to 80.
I got a confession to make. Because, of our difficulties, we have to expand the way we think. Holy Lord, it's only my mouth. I got to change my thing here. I bought some clothes to sell from the Goodwill or the Salvation Army because there's money there. I'm passing it up. I hate selling clothes. You guys know I hate selling clothes, but there's money there. I found 3 shirts worth at least $25 a piece. And I remembered from when I was selling clothes, I remembered what to look for. It was crazy.
Yeah. Used shoes. There's tons of money in used shoes.
I don't have luck with shoes, but that's because I really don't know that market. But I'm going to give you all a tip. What my wife has started doing, it has increased her profits. But she goes on eBay every morning and I don't know how many days she spends on a thing or weeks, but let's say you want to sell used clothing, for example. Well, you go in and just filter by what sold most recently and just start looking. She spends an hour a day doing that every single day. And boy, has that upped her game. And I'm going to start doing it too. I'm going to start with plush. She gave me the link that how she searches for it. And I'm going to start with plush, an hour a day. You know how many plush animals are out there and how many people are making money on that stuff?
I've said it all along is to know your niche. You got to learn,
Yeah.
For 15 years, I've spent a minimum of an hour a day. Scott's been here. He knows how much I scroll through Amazon and eBay looking at product. What's somebody else doing? What's everybody else selling? How's it working? What are the sales like?
Ralph, I agree that selling one-off used clothes can be tedious and slow, but I'm also passing up all that money. It doesn't take me more than 5 minutes or so. I have a little mannequin that I use because I used to sell a lot of clothes. I know how to make the measurements. It doesn't take as long as most people think if you know what you're doing with it. And so why pass up that $75 because it takes me 15 or 20 minutes? I mean, that's pretty good pay rate for 3 items, 4 actually. I got a nice coat. I hate doing clothes, and it's not going to be my main thing, but I have to expand, or else we will fall behind again.
It's the one thing about clothing is generally that's where most people start and resell, especially on eBay, because it's a low cost entry, and if you need inventory, this is not a time to go, well, that's not me, I don't sell that. It is, the profit is there and it's available. You've got time. Your concern is not having the time to list it. You've got the time right now. So
yeah, Ralph, I've been screwed with stains and things like that. Whatever, I don't buy women's clothes because of the returns, but the men's clothes I've never had issues with as long as I'm looking them over. And yes, you'll miss things, but for me, I needed to start over again. And where did I start on eBay full time? I started with clothing. And it just makes me go back to the mindset that I had then. Because if I keep doing what I'm doing, then I get farther and farther out. And that's, farther and farther in debt, farther and farther out from where I started and what I wanted to accomplish at the beginning. I went back to the beginning. Not that I like it, but it's starting to give me that mindset that I had back then. Anything is possible mindset that I don't have now. So that's where I went. So for me, it's going to hopefully work.
And Scott touched on something. Kevin King's running around because he's got his billionaire seller thing, and he's broadcasting all these big numbers and growth and all that. You have to find what you want in life. What is it that you want out of this? I have a unique ability to be able to go out and find product and put product together from places like ASD and stuff like that to make a living. Is that what I want my life to be? I'll tell you what my life is looking like. I'm going to be a minimalist, and I'm living a very simple life. I talk about the Amish a lot, and that's where you're going to see me head. My technology is going to get old. My stuff is going to get a little older, a little outdated. I'm not going to keep up with you young guys. You want to race? Go for it. I did mine. I got mine. And I don't need more. And that's hard to accept. That's just as hard to accept as being in Steve's position where he's struggling. John is going to ride a horse. I've ridden a lot of horses, all made out of steel, but
no, I've ridden horses.
I think Steve's making a good point about that. And you're right. But okay, so you're right and you're wrong, Ralph. He says it's a good money maker. However, you can't go crazy doing it long term. There are plenty of folks making a good living doing clothes on eBay and Poshmark, especially Posh.
Exclusively, yeah.
So don't, and then using a list perfectly or a cross platform where they're putting out. Don't miss that when you can take an item and put it on 2 or 3 platforms, and you have it is low cost, and you can buy the stuff in bulk, and you get good at listing. If you're a clothing person, you get good at that kind of stuff. There are plenty of folks out there making. There are people out. I watch a young couple on Instagram. All they do is shoes. They buy tons of shoes. They do used shoes. I think they're out of the Northeast somewhere. They're a young couple, real nice guy. All they do is use shoes. He goes all over the Northeast buying at Goodwill and thrift stores used shoes. And they're all one-offs. It can be done.
I got friends doing over $10 million a year, just clothing. All right.
Now, I'm not going to sit there and just do clothing. I would go crazy just doing clothing. But if I'm walking past a rack and my wife's still shopping, I'm going to look in that rack and see what's going to be a few bucks for me to make, because I know the products. I used to do it a lot. I mean, I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours looking at clothes at Goodwills and Salvation Armies and places like that back when I first started. So I think there's money there for me, not for everybody. I understand that.
So that's the problem, Ralph, with that kind of thinking is, for you, that may be, and for me, I agree with you 100%. I can't do that. That's not me.
I hate it.
Clothes. I can't do it. I understand where you're coming from, but if you look at these, a lot of these young kids and young ladies and guys too who get after it and understand clothes and that kind of stuff, they are making a killing. There is. Vintage clothing is wildly popular, and I just no good at it. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
I sold jeans.
Say what?
When I sold jeans?
Yeah, you sold.
Now I'm sticking to men's dress shirts for the most part, because that's where I used to make the most, and I can still see that the money is there. I'm not good at finding, vintage T-shirts. There's other guys that go into those Goodwills and Salvation Armies the moment they open, just to make sure they get the stuff. Let them have it. I don't need that stuff. I'll get the other stuff.
I mean, so if you're a clothes seller and you're not hitting Kohl's this weekend, right now, today, I mean, just because you're a clothes seller doesn't mean you got to always sell used.
No.
Half off of 80%, that's a good deal.
We used to sell Walmart clothing because it was, they'd mark it down to $1.
Yep.
And you can sell a lot of that on Amazon. Now you got to be really careful. Clothing bestseller ranks, even if it's in the top 1%, doesn't mean it sells good. It's because there's so much of it out there. So you got to be careful in that. But there's money to be made in clothing, no matter how you do it.
So Ralph, here's a good story. I don't know if I told this or not. So I did the 127, right? So I pulled into on the 127. I was trying to stay between 2 towns because I wanted to meet up with Commonwealth Picker and his group. The podcast had a meetup. And so there was this old school, and there are a bunch of these old sellers, and a gentleman comes up about my age, maybe a couple years older, comes up and says, well, I didn't think I'd meet you here. Hey, Beard, how are you? And I have that same, I'm an introvert look. And I was like, who are you looking for? And then he just started laughing. He goes, oh, I know who you are. And so I was sitting there looking at some electronics. And so he spent a couple minutes and met his wife, really nice lady. They sell on Amazon, and they own a water company. So they sell a lot of their water products on Amazon, but they also sell clothing, one-off clothing. And so they have employees back in, they're here, they live in here in Alabama. He said they have employees back where they live, and all they do is buy it. They look at it. If they're looking for certain things with clothes. If it doesn't have any issues, that means it can't have a stain, it can't have a missing button or anything. They just buy. They're driving a big, it was a Sprinter or a Transit, one of those big ones. And their goal was to go up to 127 and fill this damn van up with clothing. Because when they got back, they gave it to their employees. Their employees listed all of it. You can scale some of this stuff up if you got to make a plan. You can't look at it and go, well, you can't do anything with clothes because it takes too long.
Systems and processes.
That's the wrong thinking. That's the thinking I used to have. That's the thinking that got me. I'm looking at Amazon influencer program, and I'm thinking, well, I can maybe only make 60 or 70 videos because then I'm going to run out of stuff. The new me goes, how do I market myself as an influencer to people who need videos on their products for me to go, look at here, I'm available, and make that part of a business model. Old me wouldn't have thought about that. New me, moral of the story, get old, get employees. Okay, you might be right there. But it's you've got to change your mindset. Are you going to stay stuck in an old mindset, or
is he saying get a teenager? No.
That old mindset won't get you very far, by the way.
He's not talking about teenagers. For sure.
What do they say? If you keep doing the things you're doing, that's the definition. The same thing over and over and over. That's the definition of insanity. You got to change.
Insanity.
I'm in that process.
Same thing over and over again, and
expecting different results. Yeah.
But that's what I wanted the show to be about. The topic of fear is what's holding you back. I mean, that was the easiest one to come up with, but what kind of thinking is holding you back? And what remove that stumbling block. All right, should I place a bid? I got 9 minutes left on this item.
All right, enlighten us. Either way, it still holds true whether it's just a quote or not. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting. That's part of insanity. For me, that would be insanity. Yes.
Mr. Say probably so.
I already answered. I said yes.
So Todd, I'll give you the other side. Yeah, he says this fear of the unlisted stuff will fall over and crush him. Or do you want to be on the other side and not have anything to list, wondering where to get it? What's worse?
That's where I'm at. Right.
What's worse?
I think the position I'm in is worse because I have to continue to go out and get inventory because it's all listed. My wife thinks the opposite. She thinks we should have everything listed all the time, and I think we should have a reserve. But for me, I feel that that not having the death pile, quote unquote, is worse for me.
There's an easy there's a middle ground somewhere you got to come up with.
People wonder why we have 2 eBay stores. There's part of your answer. I like to do mine different, and we like to feel independent as far as we're contributing both, and so it makes us both feel like we have a job. And part of the reason is she would run it totally different than I would run it, even though we have the same results. We both made about the same amount of money last year, so it's the same results, but different ways to run a business.
Amy Lee, you don't know how right you are. Walmart's a huge opportunity still. Lots of listings with 0 sellers, and lots of things in Walmart without listings. Are you good enough to make an Amazon listing? This is not hard. Can you make it with the proper keywords? You don't even have to be good at PPC like John. If you make the proper listing with proper keywords and proper titles and build it correctly, you will get organic. But adding organic and PPC is a good combination. Are you good enough? There's plenty of stuff in Walmart. There's no listing.
Let me jump in on this. You don't need PPC to make sales.
Yeah,
I prove it over and over and over again. My A cost on PPC is like 11% right now. I spend very little money. I don't hide it. I did to give you an idea. I did 276 last month. 276,000 was my total gross sales on Amazon USA. That's not including Canada. And I spent under $9,000 on PPC. I know $9,000 sounds like a huge number, but most people are in the neighborhood.
I missed something.
Most people are in the neighborhood of spending on those kind of sales around 20 grand in PPC. So
You missed something. You missed me blocking someone.
I saw it.
Because I'm not going to have somebody come into a chat where I'm talking about what I'm doing. And I've spent this hour trying to help people. And that's all I've ever done with my YouTube channel is try to help people and make things available so you can learn. You don't believe me? I can give you hundreds of people that will tell you that I'm the reason why they do what they do now.
Don't let them get in your head.
So don't come on my channel thinking you're gonna make a negative comment, because unless you're gonna make another account, have a nice life.
But you have to understand that you can do what you need to do.
You absolutely can. It's 100%. You mentioned earlier. It's mindset. You've got to come up with That's why I talk about protecting your mindset. You got to get rid of the negativity. You can't let a lot of things. You can't let returns bother you. If you let returns eat you up, the more you sell, the more returns you're gonna have. It's just a percentage game.
Sunshine.
If you don't understand how to deal with it now, when you're starting and when you're medium, it's gonna tear you alive. It's especially if you're going to do Amazon and sell any kind of volume whatsoever, you're going to have returns. John's at 1 point whatever percent. What can you imagine the number that is?
I did 20,000 units in December. You figure it out.
That's a lot of returns.
So, I think we were close to 400 returns in total from. I got people that bought stuff at Thanksgiving time and waited until the 30th of January to return it. But I don't look at that stuff, guys. I really don't. It's just a number on my P&L.
So do you just have it trashed? You don't even get it back or anything, do you?
It all comes back and it's quickly sorted.
Okay.
Like if he stops for a half a second, right in the trash. It does not stay. If it comes back and it looks brand new, it goes in a pile, and once a quarter he goes in and he just lists all of that and ships it in. Now the new Amazon shipping thing, I really like.
Not a fan.
Because you built your shipment and it says, does it all fit in one box? Click, and it all goes to the same center. It does not break up any of mine. I don't care if I got 3 pieces or 100 pieces. Now, normally I have 100 to 1,000.
So I've found the same
break
thing.
it up if you have oversize and stuff like that. But
oversize was never subject to the 18 rule. So
Right.
you always oversize was
Right.
always broken up. But yeah, I found the same thing, John. I've been selling. I send in a lot of stuff through Reseller lists, and when I get to the Amazon side and hit one box,
It all goes, and it goes somewhere. Now, because of my location, it either goes to Vegas or Phoenix, both of which are just a few hours away. So my stuff's on the shelf quick.
So did your warehouses change whenever your brother went to Kentucky?
You have to understand, when I did this, I'll never forget, Dusty called me and told me I had these grandiose ideas of what I was doing. And I said, no, I don't, bud. I said, this has to be done to get to the point that I want to be at. Well, I'm at that point now. I don't know what goes on in my company for the most part. I am the owner, CEO. I have an overview of what's going on. I know what I spend on PPC. I know my numbers. I know all that stuff. The problem is, as you grow, if you don't let go, you're not really growing because something else is going to suffer from it.
Mm-hmm.
And people argue with me about that all the time. You can't do. I got people that work around the world now. I don't even know their names. Other people hired them. I pay them. If I went into payroll, I would know what their job was. But if you said, hey, so-and-so wants a day off, I'm like, who the hell so-and-so? Do they work for me? I don't know.
So Ralph, it depends on what the claim is for. If on used, I almost never, if they change their mind on a used product, I'll just do the 20% and be done with it to cover the cost of shipping and stuff. But a safety claim on a used item, unless they swap it, I generally I don't bother with it.
Listen, so, and I had to change a lot of things. I'm going to show you something. I got a knot in my pocket, the cash. I usually use credit cards. I carry this cash to make myself aware of the fact that I really don't need to work anymore. You have to do what you got to do for your mindset. You know, Steve walks around with no money in his pocket, so he knows he's got to work every freaking day.
Absolutely.
Steve, you know I'm not knocking you. I've talked to you all.
No, it's absolutely the truth.
I've been helping you. I've been reaching out to you all week, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So anybody wants to get pissed off at me, go for it. I don't care.
But it's the truth. I've been pretty honest about that.
You got to do what you have to do to make the best life for you. My goal was always to be the owner, CEO going, hey, I found these coffee mugs, get them on Amazon and sell them. And walk away. And that's what I'm able to do now. And I give up a large percentage of my profit to be able to do that. My payroll is over $6,000 a week. So I give up quite a bit of profit. Wouldn't want Grumpy pissed at me. I'm not that. Listen, I'm the guy that everybody wants to be pissed at him. Because I'll tell you right to your face what I think. I don't hold back. And afterwards, I'll shake your hand and sit down and break bread with you. You know, now if you stab me in the back or something like that, you may want to watch yourself. But
so Paper Dragon says that you're on a journey, Steve, that many of us are currently navigating. We thank you for your openness, not only in just our business, but
it's therapeutic.
Just think about the West Coast and how many people that all these big companies just laid off. Where are they going to get these replacement? If you're working for Amazon, Google, and YouTube just laid off 50,000 or so between them. Where are they going to, you know, if you were at Amazon, you were hoping maybe I'll run over to Facebook, but they've all cut staff. Now, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How many people in those business? It's not just, it's people struggle. 2023, just wait, folks. You know,
listen, you have to decide what you want in life. Steve will tell you, I'm pushing him to become a manufacturer. He knows that, I think. I'm really pushing him to become a manufacturer with the GoPro, bring products on here and say, listen,
Glowforge.
Glowforge. Hey, so where's the one you have right now? Where's Bigfoot?
Oh, my hair, my Bigfoot hair. This is really not a finished product, but I threw it up just in case people would want it. But it's just Bigfoot hair thing. It's just so like you get real human hair out of the bins all the time for $1. So what are you going to do with it? You're going to make Bigfoot hair. It's a novelty.
I'm going to start buying. I'm going to try and buy product from Steve that he manufactures to sell on Amazon. I am going to do it. I mean, I got to get people to design it because I ain't doing the frickin' work. Sorry.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny, Steve. I like that.
It's not. It definitely isn't the final product. This is just something that I came up with in my mind, and I wanted to throw something up, you know, because more for a market analysis, see how it might do, but it'll be better than that. Trust me. Just not there yet.
Harbor Hope says, "I'm happy for you, Grumpy, but several of us are more like I believe it was supposed to be Steve." You have to understand something, Harbor Hopes. We're talking about my company. I'm in my 16th year as a company. And I have my struggles like Steve. Scott will tell you that I talked about Amazon lending for a long time because they had me nailed to a wall, nailed to a cross. So this isn't an overnight thing. This is something that took well over a decade to build.
Hey, can I order something for me on your Glowforge, Steve?
Sure.
Can I get you to do another one of those?
Yeah. What do you want to? Well,
The new
yeah,
one,
I can make another one.
the new logo versus the old.
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
Do I need to send it to you to?
Nah. Well, yeah, you probably should if you got a higher quality. I have to order some light bases. Now for Scott's, I'm gonna make the light base just like I did before.
Yeah,
But,
well, if you just do the plastic, I've got the base.
He wants to change out the top.
I just want to change out the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem.
So he's got the new logo.
You just want the logo?
Yeah,
See how I did
there's
that.
there's a YouTube in the logo, so just one big of the
Okay.
logo.
I'll see what I can do.
And I agree with Harlan. Harlan's like, you know,
Then tell me what I owe you,
understand why all these people bitch about a class. There's
You
ways
give me
to
some
learn.
free advertising. That's good enough for me.
Listen, there's two ways to learn. You can pay somebody to learn from them and their experiences, or you can go out on the internet and all this information can be found for free. Now you have to filter that information because it's not always correct.
Correct.
And it's not always the best. So you could do what you want. I have paid for courses to learn different things.
I paid for one, didn't use it.
I pay.
It taught me what I didn't want to do.
I pay for a lot of books. I buy a lot of books. My mother's like, well, you're retired now. Read. The only thing I read is how-to books, how to do something, how to buy stock, how to trade stock, how to build a business, how to hire a COO, how to put somebody in charge of your operations. These are the types of books I read. I don't read novels. So
Taylor, I can do it on just about any material. Anything that has PVC in it, I can't. It has to be under 2 inches thick. Other than that, just about anything.
And you have to order a minimum of 12 from Steve.
No, you
can't do
don't.
one off. He don't have time to do one off.
Sorry, Scott. I guess I can't do your light
Well,
side.
yeah, I mean, listen, that's your buddy. That's your buddy. You can do something for your buddy. What I'm saying is, you gotta focus on. Forget the one off. Go somewhere that they're set up to do a one off and can afford to do one off. You can't afford to spend 3 hours on a project for $20, Steve.
It depends on. Yeah, I mean, typically, like the light sign takes about 15 minutes.
But you really, and if you want a business like mine, or if you want to grow your business, one thing I suggest is buy a freaking book, Built to Sell, and read it. It's a fiction. It's not nonfiction. It's a fictional book. It's a guy that's been in business, bought and sold several thousand businesses, and it's all about systems and processes and how you go from where you're at with all the clutter to a very streamlined process that will make you money steadily.
So Ron's got a good point. I want to comment. He says most of us are like Todd, Silver Stacker. We're actually retired and want to supplement our income. We have no payroll. That's why we relate to Steve and Scott.
Right.
But the one thing I would tell you, and the people, the value of this show is what I talk about is, you need to have people around you that a group of 5, 6 people. You need somebody below you, somebody above you, and somebody who's bring you up you're at the same level, going through the same things. And so I that's why I valued, there's been tons of people who told me, ditch John. He's so negative. He's awful. I've heard that over and over. But the one thing people miss is,
I've never heard it.
He was below me. He is now above me in sales and process. We do things different, but it's good to hear from someone who has been through the battles and understands a lot more of the system, especially of an Amazon, than most of us ever will. And so to have someone like John who's giving you advice based on the craziness he's been through and the battles he's fought, people discount that, and they don't understand that, it's okay to hear people who are at your level and people you relate to. But if you never step outside and hear what's possible, how do you change that mindset to go, well, I do this, but I could be doing that, and how do I take what John has done and some of the things he sees and the upscalability and the processes he talks about all the time and apply it to what I do, and still not have employees, but still there's value in different levels, and people discount that.
I want to address that too. I got to be honest. I've thought about leaving and not coming back to the show. And it has nothing to do with anybody on the show, in the show, or the views the show. But a lot of times I'm like, I can't help these people. But then I get one or two messages behind the scenes that I really did something for somebody. And they instead of listening to my grumpy tone of voice, and that's my personality, guys. That's just who I am. They listen to what I said and not how I said it, and it helped them. So I come back. When Steve talks about being 50,000 in debt, I wish I was only 50,000 in debt. There was a point in time I was 440,000 in debt.
Yeah, I'm never getting there.
So understand my problems may be on a larger scale, but no, I've had all the problems that everybody in here has had.
I have to tell you, and John probably knows, my wife was not a big fan of yours at the beginning before she ever met you. Right?
Yeah.
And now you talk to her more than you talk to me.
Yeah.
So, and you've helped her with certain product ideas, and she's run with it, and she's doing okay with that idea, or a couple of them. Now, not everything that you've taught us or told us works for us, but some of that stuff has helped us out a lot. And I think I always tell people who ever say anything like that to me, I said, well, you've never met the guy, have you, in person? Meeting John in person is a whole different story. I mean, John's the same guy. Don't get me wrong.
I was going to say, nothing changes.
But you get a better perspective when you meet somebody like that, She was only not a fan for a short time, by the way, John.
That's fine.
Because of your grumpiness,
I do have but part of that is my past. I've had a very rough life. People don't understand that. Some people hear my story and go, oh, that's all made up like Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
So Felix says, John, read The Tipping Point. You'd appreciate that book.
The Tipping Point?
Yeah.
Right. And just because my debt is $50K, and the very first video I said, to some people, this is nothing. To other people, it means everything. Right now, it means a lot to us. 50,000 is a lot of money. But also I got to address one thing real quick. People get the wrong idea about how we handle our finances. Just because we got into some debt doesn't mean we're bad with finances. I want to make that clear.
That's for you, John.
Who is it? Malcolm Gladwell's book? It must be. It's got to be. All right, I got it. Done. It's on my next book to read.
Ralph, I'm assuming you're an American. Understand that you're rich. It's all a matter of perspective. By you won the lottery by being born in the United States of America. Our poorest of our poor are the top 1%ers in the world. Understand that. When we complain, so I was listening to, I told you I've been listening to Rob Dial, the entrepreneur mindset on. So I listened to 4 or 5 a.m. and he was making the point that I think it was his podcast. It was one of the two. I was listening. If you were our poorest of poor or 1%, he was listening to somebody talk about a village in Africa. How many cars you got in your driveway? I'm assuming Ralph probably 2. You can be crazy like me and have 1, 2, 4, 5, even though one of them doesn't run. But anyway,
You
that
still got
village
that
in
thing.
Africa, a whole village of people get their water from a stream. He said it tastes like mud, and they might see a vehicle once every 6 weeks. One vehicle once every 6 weeks. Understand this by perspective. Yeah, Jacob King, John says that it is Malcolm Gladwell. It's excellent his opinion, and it's
I bought it. It's done. It's my next
the tipping point. Paper Dragon, the tipping. So understand it's about perspective, and do you want to trade? Go live in the reason why the mass migration is coming this way is, for one thing, America is not reproducing at a rate to sustain our population. So they're, businesses behind the scene are encouraging the Democrats and a lot of Republicans to allow people to come up into the country because we're going to need the population. But understand these people are coming to better their lives. There are criminals mixed in, but you've got people that, he's talking about, they live in a hut, folks. We're not talking about, they got a tent from Walmart or Cabela's and they're out camping and showing you how they do it. We're talking dirt floor, straw hut, and that's all they've got. Understand, Mr. Sadie, rich is not monetary. I believe you're correct. But understand, being an American, you are so blessed. You're so blessed beyond anything unless you've traveled the world and seen the poverty, you can't understand.
And we waste so much money.
And just don't get me started on expiration dates and the food and all the stuff. The food we throw away at restaurants it's just absolutely insane.
How about electronics?
Oh my God.
I've given away 5 computers this week, and I got 6 or 7 more over there to go through, wipe out, and drop off at Goodwill. For what? For what? And Mr. Sadie's right. Mr. Sadie's right. Rich is not just monetary. Because some of the biggest donations ever given were from some of the most average people in the world. The janitor that gave $8 million when he passed away to the school that he cleaned the floor every day for 30 years. $8 million he gave away because he lived an average life.
The more humps on the camel. Rich and wealthy, and as a matter of perspective, it's a matter of perspective about your business. We've talked all day about mindset. Truly focusing and getting your mindset correct. It can change anything you want in life. You can change with the proper mindset. It's available to you. It is easier to go in debt longer. I was just reading your comments, Felix.
Yeah, Felix can be funny sometimes. But that's why I keep coming back, because I know that there are people out there I can help. I struggle helping Steve. It's hard for me to help Steve because it's been so long since I was in those types that I had those kind of problems. It's hard for me to really comprehend the problem anymore. But I want to help him, so I try very hard, and I try to give him the best guidance that I can. I work with a manufacturer. His gross sales are $300,000, and I look at him at $300,000 a year, and I look at that guy and I go, man, I can remember those days, because he runs around ragged and unorganized. And I sit him down and try to explain to him, listen, if you get a little bit organized, the stress will go away in your life and you'll be able to do more. But it's hard to hear that when you're going through it. I didn't hear it. People told me that when I was going through the $440,000 in debt to Amazon. I couldn't hear what they were saying because you have so much weight on your mind. Steve goes to bed, probably exhausted. I remember those days. You but you go to bed, you're so overwhelmed and you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it.
I can tell you though, John, once I started doing the videos, a lot of that stress has gone away. Now all my stress is over there on the videos. I can talk it out. And I think people ask me, why the hell are you doing this? Well, it's therapeutic for me. And maybe it's therapeutic for somebody else, but I don't want to tell everybody how far in debt I am. I mean, who wants to do that? But because number one, nobody else will ever do it. Nobody else will get on YouTube and do that. And I mean, there's probably people out there who have, but you know what I mean? It's therapeutic.
But as you find your way through this, you're going to find a group of people that are going to be there to support you, give you good
I already
ideas.
found a lot of people.
I mean, you're all of a sudden your whole life and demeanor is going to change because you're going to have people in your corner that are fighting with you just as much as you and Marcia are fighting to get through this.
I already feel that way. I mean, you guys, man, the support. Now, there's a couple, Gordon, a couple people out there who don't like me, you know, and they're going to make some comments. I get it.
Well, hell,
But
all I got to do is put a video up. I get 5 negatives, 5 thumbs downs before the video even starts. So I do got to make one statement. I do got to make one statement on this show because this is the show allegedly this happened on, and I want to ask the chat plus maybe if he's watching today. A gentleman named Gordon messaged me on my video and said that a few years ago I made a comment about something along the lines of, if you find an item, let's say this coffee cup, and it sells for more on Amazon than it does on eBay, that you're stupid not to sell it on Amazon. Well, I would never make a statement like that because it depends on the situation, obviously. But if I made a statement like that, I apologize to people because that's not what I meant. In other words, he says that I implied that eBay sellers were stupid. I'm an eBay seller, so I don't know how that comes out. But if I said that, I apologize to folks. I come across wrong sometimes, and I know that. But
so, Mike, what did you?
Welcome back, Gordon.
Accidentally, what did you accidentally reported?
Mr. Sadie says I have professional haters.
Oh, there's 2 people who immediately, and I don't know how they know, but immediately as soon as my videos come out, not the new ones, but all the other videos, the reselling related stuff, two thumbs down immediately. Every single video.
There's a thin line between love and hate.
You know what? I want to do a YouTube. I'm going to tell you now, I want to do a YouTube. I'm not going to. I'm never going to do it. This is the most you're going to get from me is this show. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this show because I'm telling you now, I'm on a mission to declutter. I don't know how many people follow me. I'm down so much stuff in my house.
Was that you this time?
That's that. No. I can't figure out how to turn it off. Damn thing annoys the hell out of me.
That's
in the middle of the night.
That's easy.
I try to go in there and do it, but in reality, you just simple. All you need is what you want. Forget what everybody else says. My biggest mistake was going this big. If I could do this all over again, I'd probably get to about $1 million. And it's not for me, just so you know, it's not for me. My mother struggled her entire life. And now she gets on a plane and she flies to see her grandchildren or her great-grandchildren, and she does whatever she wants. She wants a convertible. She went down there and bought herself a convertible. Whatever she wants, she gets. My brother has a job who couldn't work because of his back. So I'm able to help other people. But after that, I don't need all this I had. Everybody told me that at one point in time, this was all going to overwhelm me. And I'm at that point.
I got to say one more thing about my videos, and one unexpected thing that happened. And in fact, I just read the email. He sent me 2 emails now. Kid I was best friend, one of my best friends from high school. I haven't seen him since high school. Saw my video. I don't know how he saw it. I don't know how he found it. But now I've reunited with a friend from high school. That's pretty freaking cool, you know? Now, we've had 25, 30 years between the time that we've known each other, and I'm sure we've both changed quite a bit. But reuniting with somebody, that is pretty doggone cool, you know?
Grumpy, I'm your son. Yeah, okay. Then you'll get what the rest of my kids get. Nothing. Instruction. You can laugh if you want. I've given all my kids the Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. You want some of mine? Get your shit straight. I don't mind helping people, but get your shit straight.
I used to be in the position where I could help my children as far as giving, if they needed some work. My son yesterday finally paid off his loan that I gave him, right? $50 a month for the last who knows how long. It was only $600. And I told him, I said, now you're on your own. Number one, I don't have the money to do it. But number two, you have issues in your life. You're going to have to figure out how to take care of them. It's not my responsibility to take care of everything. And hopefully, because nobody did for me, so hopefully he gets that and it helps him out in life,
Mr. Sadie has a great point. I see so much waste with some resellers. I just never say anything, but wow, their bottom line could be so much better. I have focused, and I talk about this a lot. I talk about my gross sales because that's what retail stores, restaurants, everybody that's in business, that's what they talk about is their gross.
Right.
My focus is on the bottom right corner. As an owner, when I get a P&L statement, I don't care what's in it. I don't care how long it is. I look for the last page, bottom right corner, because that number is my net. What's mine? I'll then go back and look through it. Once I started focusing on what my profit margins were, I did a lot of things that Steve talked about in the last video. Cut out things that you don't use. Cut out subscriptions. Cut out magazines. Cut out dinner. Cut out. Makes life a lot easier. You don't have to sell as much to make as much money if you know what's going on. What the hell's blowing up on eBay?
I mean, somebody did the math on just the things I talked about, and there's been other things we've cut out. $600 a month, eliminated just from cutting a few things out.
Harlan and I talk about a lot, the amount of money people, and we're guilty too. You eat out. How much money you can save just by eating at home. So wings are a good example. Even, so if I were to go to Tailgaters and get wings and a drink, it's $18.99 for 10 wings a side, and then the drink will be another. So by the time I'm tipping everything, I'm $25 probably. This is not Tuesday. Wing night Tuesday night is cheap. It was, even with a beer last night, it was like $14. But Joni, she goes to Costco. She buys their wing thing. It's in 6 little sections. It was the one she bought the other day were $23. We all ate more wings than the 10 Monday night, and that was only half of them. And so there's what, 70 wings or so in that thing for $25, $23. The amount by learning to cook it in the air fryer, which makes it feel like no mess, and it tastes like they're deep fried, and figuring out what kind of sauce you like, because not only do you get a ton more, it costs you a third. So eating out is not cheaper than the grocery store.
It's true and not true. If you're single and you really plan how you eat out, it's cheaper to eat out. If you just stop at a fast food joint and order a Big Mac meal, it's not cheaper to eat out. It's like flying versus driving. One person flying is cheaper than driving.
Organic hot dogs. What are you talking about, Felix? You get the red ones with all the parts. You don't know where they came from. They're the best.
I'd rather have hot dogs that I don't know what's in them.
Who in their right mind would buy an organic hot dog?
Do those two words even go together, organic and hot dog? I don't understand.
I guess so.
Well, yes.
Yeah, Trader Joe's at $15 a pack.
But Trader Joe's is another good example. Johnny does tomorrow. She'll stop by Trader Joe's on the way home. She does every Thursday. They have really good frozen stuff that saves her a lot of time making, and they're reasonable in their prices. Did you? I don't know if y'all missed that, but Ralph asked Harlan, does Harlan make them pay for the meal? And Harlan's response was, there's a price to pay. Oh my Lord.
But
I'm not. We cut out going out to eat, but I'm not against doing it. You just got to do. And my mom used to say, everything in moderation. You have to learn how to moderate things. And so, for us right now, nothing, because if we do, that's money that we could be putting towards the debt. You know,
$900 a month for internet. What?
No, I think that's got to be a typo.
Paul, I hope that's a typo. Holy.
I think he's got.
I think it's $950 a month, as far as
total
a mortgage for his house and warehouse is how I'm reading it.
Not a typo. Not a typo.
It's Paul. Do you got a T line coming in? Is that what it is? I think he might have a T line coming into his warehouse. My internet's not cheap. I think I'm over 400 with everything for internet.
Wow. See, we have fiber optic here, we're lucky, but I think we're in the $60 a month range. And it's the one thing I can't compromise on because we run our business, that way. But I thought ours was high. Ours used to be higher. When it was cable internet, it was actually higher.
But you have to understand, there was a point in time that Lori and I would get $1 cheeseburger at McDonald's. And I put this out there. People just don't remember it. What they remember is that I sit down to steak and lobster for, and I don't allow Harlan to order chicken at a frickin' steakhouse.
Paul says that is definitely not a typo, and that is only for internet. That is crazy.
But Lori and I would get $1 cheeseburger, $1 cheeseburger each. And she would be a little hungry and ask for $1 fry. We would get a courtesy water, and that was our dinner. What you see my life being now wasn't that way just 6 years ago right before she retired.
Today's 6 years. Woo-hoo!
Today's 6 years, so I'm taking her to frickin' McDonald's and buying her $1 cheeseburger. And
make sure she gets the fries.
Get a whole $1 fry for herself.
That's a lie because you're on a diet. Neither one of y'all gonna eat either. Don't eat that mess.
I eat cheeseburgers.
There's been times though, you can get a chicken sandwich at McDonald's for $1 or $2. We've done that. There's been times when we're out on the road. So even when we're out on the road, which we haven't done in months, probably I don't even know if we've done it this year, except for going to visit her mother for Christmas. We don't eat out. And when we do, it's just cheap stuff like that. We'll go to McDonald's and get something cheap.
I eat out based on the location. Something different.
But even when we were okay monetarily, we never really did spend a lot of extra money on that kind of stuff. On occasion.
That's great. He must have business internet because I've got Xfinity. I've got Xfinity, which is cable internet. But when they built my building behind the house and they ran the power from in here out there, I dropped the hard line in the same hole before they cover it up. So it's wired off of the same router.
Yes, I do. See, Paul says, yes, I do business. I figured he
had. Well, hey.
He's probably got a T line coming into the warehouse, which is a much faster thing than most people need. But some people need it. It can be justifiable. I mean, there are expenses that you have to pay.
He said they own the warehouse and they made him get the business package.
Well, if they know you have a business, they're going to make you get the business package. Yep, that's how that works.
Yeah, I didn't tell him anything. That's a garage.
Right. If you work from home, it's a whole different story. Paul has a warehouse.
Well, I don't think his
So because of
warehouse.
that.
I don't think Paul's warehouse is on his property.
Right.
He's,
And
he's
because
got
of
them-
that,
he's got
it's a
them
lot harder to
funky-
hide.
He bought them funky eBay shoes.
I don't know why they charge more for businesses. I guess they figure businesses have more money and can afford it. But in my mind, in my thinking, I think I would give a discount to a business because they're going to be using my service and then maybe promoting that service. I don't
No.
know. But nah, it's always more expensive for business,
And
even
they
though
all-
it's the same exact service.
No, it's not.
Well, here it would be, but they do charge more for business.
You get more bandwidth. You get more dedication as a business line.
And you get better service too. They only allow you to go without for so long before they start doing crazy, jumping the hoops.
I went to sign up for internet here when we first moved, or not when we first moved. I think maybe it was when we was gonna switch to fiber optic, and made the mistake of telling them that I sell on eBay and I need internet for that, and they wanted to charge me business rates. Well, they didn't have fiber optic in my area just yet, so I just ignored that. And when I really signed up for it, I never mentioned the word eBay to them. It wouldn't be a smart idea.
Look at Elon Musk. He has a business rate on his internet, and the equipment is like 4 times as expensive. Not that I know anything about it. And yes, I do have satellite internet, and it's amazing.
I could tell you that the fiber optic we have here, now we didn't get the lowest plan because it wasn't much better speed wise than having the cable. So we got the middle plan, I think. But man, it's amazing. You can do whatever you want. Stream everything. It's much more stable. My uploads to YouTube take seconds generally. I think we're 300 up, 300 down. We don't have the best plan, but
And listen, most people are happy with Reseller Genie. I've not heard anything negative. You know, I know 4 or 5 people that use it. You know, I've got a link from down below but most of them we talk about here is more Amazon and eBay. So most people I know use the Inventory Lab on that side or one of those type of programs to track more expenses.
You see Paul's speed?
608 up is good, or down. 41 up is okay. I mean, that's better than your basic cable internet.
So, Paul, I'll give you a crazy story. So, mine the other day was 408 up and 408 down, 12 up, and I was struggling to get all these videos up for the class, and that I'm building. And so I called Hard. I'm like, dude, let me borrow your internet. I get over there, it's 508 down, 690 up.
So you got fiber?
Yeah, he's got fiber. So I sat there. Harlan was
seconds.
Working on the
quick.
auction. Yeah. And
Now, if you want to improve the internet up at your house, wire into your modem.
I am hardwired in. That's all I get.
Wow.
I'm 300 up, 300 down every time I've checked it. And I'm wireless in here. I could be wired. I have a wire in here, but I've never needed it.
Anyone recommend Reseller Genie for books? I know nothing.
Yeah, I've never used Reseller Genie myself,
And
so I couldn't.
the one thing, Paul and Faith are really nice people. They handle their own customer service, so it's worth giving them a try. The worst you can do is go through the trial period and decide it's not for you. There's a show that they were on the show and answered a lot of questions on this. But the one thing is it's one of the things I like about a business. It's resellers that built something that they're using other resellers. So generally that kind of software
Oh yeah, I remember.
more user friendly, more. Yeah, you talked a lot. You were on that show. I prefer to have, instead of having somebody who has come into the reseller thing and try to build something for a reseller. If you've got resellers in the middle of it who are really saying, hey, this is what I go through, this is what we actually need versus You say you can get a lot of these things with bells and whistles that you go, what the hell would anybody ever use that for?
Paul needs to look.
Right.
Paul, I would suggest looking at Elon Musk. I don't know what area you're in. Elon Musk has a business package that's just phenomenal. Starlink.com, I think, is the website.
Yeah,
It's all
Starlink.
like satellite, right?
Yeah. So if y'all missed the news too, they actually got enough satellites. They are now covering Africa and providing service. I think Nigeria was the first country to go live over there. That's going to you just think about that. That's going to change the way the entire world works. You know, when the internet is out there for anybody. And I knowing Elon and the way he thinks, you know, the service to Africa, he's got a plan, I'm sure, to provide them devices that don't cost what you've got to pay over here. I'd be willing to bet money. I feel it's good luck hunting for wives.
Yeah, I went and showed my wife a ring in Tiffany's.
So there you go. And this Jeanette Randall says her sister likes Reseller Genie. They're nice people, and I've looked through it and looked at all the reports it's made. There's a ton of information. So if you're going from paper to that kind of stuff, I'm telling you. Hey Gary, what's up, man? Yeah, we're about to. I was going to do this one early, but the middle of the story was so good. I was like, you know what, we'll just keep going.
Well, that's the problem with this show is that we land on a topic that's really good for us, and we're really able to dig into it. And if people go back and watch this stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you can pick up that you missed the first time around because you're laughing and joking in chat. We're laughing and joking, and I say something, or Scott says something, or Steve says something that kind of gets brushed over. But when you go back and look at it, there is some really good information.
And this show has been going for so long that, you know, it's if somebody comes in and asks about printers and those kind of things, we'll answer that kind of stuff. But most of the time, the topics are, you know, as you evolve in business, and you know, most people, this is their first time. That's the first time they've owned a business. You know, they're new. You know, they're young entrepreneurs, or they're people who are like me who've come at it late in life, and so you really evolve, and you start to understand that the concepts anybody can, you know, pick up this EOS M and know what it's worth. But it's the mindset, you know, it's how do you deal with the day to day? How are you in this for the long term? You know, understanding what John told you earlier, you know, everybody looks at the top line. There's a reason everybody looks at the top line, because you can only increase the bottom line two ways. You increase the top line or you lower the expenses. Those are the two. And so most people ignore they lower the expenses and they go immediately for let's have more sales. And
I'll give you an example. In 2021, I did 2.5 million. In 2022, I did 2.8 million. 300,000 increase. My bottom line had a 45% increase in profit. It was by cutting expenses, streamlining my processes, adjusting my prices, and looking for a lot of things had to be repackaged, believe it or not, so that they were small and light. They were, you know, they didn't fit large. I had to do a lot. I mean, it's all technical stuff. It's very boring, monotonous stuff. But I did the same number of sales with the same employees the 2 years, and my income is way up.
But you know, I talk a lot about the details. Every now and then I get on one of those kicks. You know, like boxes is a good example today. Link for Supply Hut in the description. Those boxes, the right box can make it where the boxes are free. You want to eliminate some of your costs and make it, you know, choose the right weight box. You know, it means you save 40 cents to stay in this range. Well, I paid 40 cents for the box or 30 cents for the box. That's pretty much a free box because you didn't spend that money. You know, when you understand streamlining and paying attention to the little details, and realizing, you buy the Chinese printer, you open the UPS business account because they'll send you free labels if you call them and say, hey, I need a box of 6,000. Now you've got a printer that's not using ink that you paid $100 for, but you're printing on free labels, and you're using boxes that are look nice because you're shipping correctly and you're in the right weight zone. So that's the cheapest you can ship. The boxes were pretty much free. You learn these things. Shipping is so complicated unless you've tackled shipping and understand, it's a couple extra clicks to use pirate ship, but I'm getting the option for cubic shipping. I tell you, you need a group of 5 or 6 people around you. One of those guys in my group goes, dude, I found a link for free pickups from UPS for 10 years. You want it? Yeah, they come. UPS will come every day. I ask them until 2031. What you put all this together that these shows talk about, and how do you make the most on the bottom line? You got to combine it all. Think about how it works for you. Not everything is perfect, but you can apply it in your way, in your business, and glean something from everyone and streamline your business the way you do it. What happens if you're more efficient and there's more going to the bottom line? What's your life like? Gary, I don't do many Frankenboxes anymore, although I do have a damn laser disc machine that's got to go out today or tomorrow.
Speaking of which, I think I have a laser disc machine down there. I got a list.
I sold it on Amazon. I'll
have to look it up. Mine is a professional one, and it takes the laser discs that come in the cases.
Yeah, I got 4 bills for it.
I'll have to look it up. It's a Panasonic. Don't know why it's not. Oh, I was trying to find more because the laser disc that I have for it kind of isn't the best, and I wanted to see if I could find more laser discs, and I haven't come across any yet, just to see if it plays better.
So Charlie, there's a way to speed up pirate ship if you save the packages. I'm selling a lot of DVDs, so I've got all the weights of DVDs. Under DVDs, they're already marked for media. So to sell an 8-ounce DVD, it's just hitting one box that's going to tell me what the price is. I'm going to accept it and print it. So it to me, it helps my postal guy out, Jason, to give him a sheet so he can scan them all in at one time. I don't like the eBay system, so I use pirate ship.
eBay's actually changed a little bit with their say. It makes it a lot easier to do it now since they've upgraded it, but it's still not. You're still not getting your cubic rate. So once they change that, it might change, things. But
all right, lad. Good luck with your selling adventure. I hope you're a success reselling. Let us know how that works out. I think you can do it, man.
I have to say, we mess with Lag a lot, but he's been pretty good in the comment section on my videos, and I appreciate that. James W. as well. All you guys.
That's probably his wife typing for him. It's probably not the.
Yeah, probably. Well, you sure he's married? I thought he lived in his mother's basement.
He's mentioned a wife, I believe.
Okay.
I've got this mental image of a running thing.
Maybe someday we'll actually get to see who Lag really is.
I know. Lag, he will forever be a mystery.
He's your typical Philadelphia fan. He's short, fat, got a pretzel hanging out of his mouth, scratching his butt, and thinks he lives in a clean city.
All right, so we're right at 2 hours. Keep Tamara in your thoughts. Her mom passed away yesterday morning. Chest pains. That's
wow.
I think her mom still lives in the same area where I grew up, and that would mean her mom passed the same place my dad did, the same hospital. My dad worked at that hospital for a long time, so.
Tamara is good. Tamara is good people too. So
very good people.
Yeah.
My father passed away Saturday. no
So-
big deal. I mean,
it pays to pay attention. So here's my thought for you for the day. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Why is he not celebrated more? You know, you've got a kid who I call him a kid. He's a little old. He's Jacob's age. He's comes to Alabama. You know, led us to a championship game twice. You know, he got benched for Tua. You know, he sat behind Tua for a year, went to Oklahoma. They told him he'd never be an NFL quarterback. He's playing in the Super Bowl, folks. And this he's got an attitude that's absolutely true. His attitude is truly tremendous. You tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna work my ass off and figure out how to do it. You know, people think, how bad was that year he sat at Alabama when Tua was the starter? People forget we had a 1-year quarterback coach named Dan Enos. He spent an entire year with one of these crazy quarterback gurus that he had no pressure to start. And all he had to do was when he got to Oklahoma, he was a different quarterback. And he's improved every year. So what's different about him? I can tell you that one of the strengths, and people don't, he's raised by a fine family. A mother and a father who are still active in his life. You start looking around at, I noticed a trend with Alabama quarterbacks. Tua's the same way. Same outstanding young man. Mac Jones the same way. A quarterback that just left Bryce, same way. It's amazing, you know, these young people who have a strong influence of both parents in their lives. And it doesn't have to be, it could be a stepfather, it could be but a strong influence of a father and a mother, how well they turn out. It's absolutely amazing. Patrick Mahomes better hold on. I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati screwed up. If I was playing Cincinnati and knowing that Patrick Mahomes can't go to the right, I'd have blitzed him to the right and chased his ass to the right until he camped out over there because he couldn't throw off the right foot. But so the media is not going to tell you that kind of stuff. Patrick Mahomes the same way. Great parents. You know, I've seen lots of interviews with them. Todd, there's no help. You're too old to even. So check out those kids, those young guys. There's more to the football story. You know, the people, tremendous. Looking at Jalen Hurts' background, the story's amazing. The man and the leader he is it's an amazing story of who he is and a great role model. All right, that's all I got for you. Check them out.
Come on, you spam calls.
It's not an accident that high achievers like that have, you know, outstanding upbringings. They're trying to kill it. With that being said, see you guys tomorrow night. We'll talk a little more about, I'll have the class finalized by tomorrow night. So we'll talk more about that as it launches Friday morning. Yeah. So I don't know what else we're talking about tomorrow night. All right, roll tide.
The discount. He's going to offer a discount at tomorrow night's show for the class.
All right, I can do that. All right.
Sweetwater out again.
If you learned something or even thought about something, hit the thumbs up on the way out. Roll tide.
Hello.
Sweetwater out for the third time.
Hello and
good night.
Sweetwater out. Had to have last word.